Nicholas Kirkland's Neurological Warfare and United States Experiments Part 6. In this episode, Nicholas Kirkland discussed the targets. From my research and correspondence with other TIs, I know that targets are representative of the makeup of the U.S. population. How are targets chosen? In the United States, the intelligence community, which includes the military, has its ears to the ground to cover all facets of American life, and thus they have access to information concerning whistleblowers who threaten to expose certain practices and secrets, prisoners and ex-prisoners through the prison system, rest homes and hospitals through cooperating nurses and doctors, patients of psychiatrists, persons in the gay community, political activists, etc. They probably also solicit and accept nominations for targets from leaders in the scientific, intelligence, and business communities, certain religious institutions, and from allies, such as Israel. The American intelligence community and the Israeli Mossad have cooperated for many years. Such is their cooperation that now the two organizations are in many cases practically one single operating unit. Keep in mind that most, if not all, of the major decision-makers in the U.S. military-industrial complex are decidedly pro-Israel. Mind control is carried out by communicating with the target's brain. It is not yet known how experimenters hook the target's brain or mind. There may be several ways. Yet, we know that once his brain is hooked, it can and will be accessed by the handlers continually 24/7. The target will not know immediately that his mind is being manipulated. Indeed, he may not find out for years. The handlers first have to explore the target's thoughts to get to know him and especially his fears, foibles, and shortcomings. Once that is done, the handlers begin their whispering routine to the target's subconscious, often using loop play tapes that use repetition to affect the target's thinking. Please refer to my previous article called Mind Control and Law Enforcement Complicity for a fuller discussion of that capability. Most of the experiments that are the focus of this narrative are promulgated using the subconscious whispering communication approach. Much later, the handlers may also begin to talk to the target aloud in voices that only the target can hear. The ESMC activities may in some cases be reinforced by gang stalking and other forms of group harassment. Neurological testing objectives, physical effects. The physical effects of electronic and neurological assault are well known, at least to the victims who endure them. What is not known, however, is how they might affect combat and support troops during a military conflict. The following are only a few of the physical effects of ISMC and their military applications. In many cases the physical and psychological effects must work together. Frequent defecation, rendering troops unfit for battle. Fear, frustration, doubt, hopelessness, extreme lethargy, anxiety, etc. that cause panic and massive desertions among combat troops. Sleep deprivation, which weakens resolve and strength of soldiers. The electrical like jolts, restless legs, pinpricks, sensation of crawling insects, mental sodomy, throbbing in the head, twitching fingers, cramps, gastric disturbances, etc. deprive the soldier of sleep. The physical effects are reinforced by the psychological elements seen in 1 and 2 above. Ringing in the ears, or tinnitus. This not only affects the soldier's hearing but also causes physical imbalance, much like an inner ear problem. Neurological testing objectives, psychological effects. The neurological results of the experiment/testing are far more important than the physical effects. I list below some mind control experiments that the US, and probably other countries, are very likely working on. Every one of these experiments has military implications. In most cases, they are very obvious. To see what type victim responds best to the mind control methods used and conversely what type victims can best resist those methods. To see what groups, based on factors such as intelligence, age, gender, sexual orientation, physical condition, the physique, education, color, language groups, ethnicity, and other qualities, are most vulnerable to mind control. To see how long it takes for a tested victim to capitulate to a particular method. To see whether victims can contrive methods for nullifying or lessening the effects of the neurological assault. To see what effect the various neurological methods have on the victims and whether they affect victims in the same manner and to the same degree. To see what width of area and over what length of distance the neurological methods achieve the best results. To determine what elements of mind control work best on various types of persons. To test the ability of the handlers in tracking targets from place to place and from country to country. To see whether a person's religious beliefs can be destroyed and perhaps replaced with other beliefs. To see whether persons can be induced to turn against their own country, their own family, their own church group, their own friends, their own values, etc. To see whether a person can be covertly psychologically trained to think certain things about certain types of people based on ethnicity, color of skin, nationality, religion, social level, education, political affiliation, personal philosophy, etc. To see to what extent neurological suggestions can influence physical actions or inactions without the targets being aware of the causes. To see to what extent targets can be made to perform certain acts, perhaps unknowingly, or think certain ideas. To see whether targets can be made to develop schizophrenic, paranoid, or obsessive-compulsive behavior. On our next episode, we will complete this episode and summarize Nicholas Kirkland's Neurological Warfare and United States Experiments. Visit www.targetedindividualscanada.wordpress.com for more information.